Hey guys, so this is usually a PvP guide channel, but there is one Counterside PvE subject which has never been covered well, and that's the branches and branch facilities. So I'm going to fix that. Even the saltiest veteran players might not know some of the information I'll be sharing, so stay with me even if you think you know all there is to know about facilities already. We'll be reviewing what each facility does and doesn't do, and talk about some world map mechanics along the way. And then I'll propose the build order for each branch level, and maybe we'll even have time for a rewards tier list at the end. Let's get started. So, the branch manager office is pretty simple. It increases how fast your branch levels up, and it's free to upgrade. So just upgrade it as soon as you can. The phase coordinate amplifier is also free to build and to destroy. Or remove, just say. Note that if a facility costs facility points to build, you will get those facility points back when you remove the facility. So there's no permanent mistakes. It can cost quite a lot of credits though, especially as a newer player. So try to avoid experimenting too much with facility removal. Anyway, the phase coordinate amplifier increases the raid level. Because raids and dives both take up the same spot next to your branches, your goal with raids should normally be to get rid of them before your next mission ends, so you can hopefully have a dive appear at that spot instead. If you spawn a raid, you automatically get participation credit for it, and you don't have to attack it yourself. For that reason, try to make sure your partner list is active and use the in-game recommendation system to add people as partners when current ones haven't been online in a while. Also try to be in an active consortium, because they can fight in your raids too. So the level of your coordinate amplifier should match what level you think will get rid of the raids fastest. As a brand new player, you shouldn't build it at all, and have it at level 70. And have level 70 raids that people of your level will be able to handle quickly. And you can demolish it if you already built it. By contrast, people with a lot of partners around level 90 or 100, who are in top consortiums, will probably want level 150 raids, because the rewards are slightly better and might attract more attention. Feel free to experiment with facility level, because it costs nothing to do so. Now, the finance department gives you more credits for missions, but missions don't pay that much in credits, and the bonus is pretty small, so you can probably ignore this completely. Resource storage is the same thing as the finance department, but for credits. It's a decent filler choice if you just log in once a day and usually send out 8-hour branch missions, but otherwise it's a low priority. Now, the cafeteria is actually something to think about, because it gives a respectable boost to your info gains. If you're into PvP, and sometimes pull for operators from banners to level up operator skills and passives, and level up a variety of niche PvP unit skills, you're almost always going to want more info, and there aren't a ton of great ways to get it. This facility does have some competition for your precious facility points though, which we'll get to later. The future strategy department is a big one. It lets you complete missions at 10% faster at level 1, 15% faster at level 2, and a maximum total of 20% faster at level 3. The level 1 bonus is huge, so everybody who's logging in more than once or twice a day should definitely build at least level 1 ASAP. It does require a level 3 branch manager office to build, which requires a branch level 4. Finishing branch missions faster also means leveling up the branch faster, so maxing this out is a good option. I will say I find it super annoying to have different branches having different future strategy department levels, so you may want to consider trying to keep their upgrade levels equal across your different branches. It might cost you some extra credits, but I think it's worth the peace of mind, and not sitting around for 4 to 16 minutes waiting for some branch mission to complete. Now, the command center sounds amazing, claiming it can increase the great success chance by 15% at level 1. But if you're staffing your branch offices properly, this building actually does nothing. Without event buffs, the maximum great success chance is 70%, and the command center does not increase this cap. Your great success chance depends on the level of your branch manager, and you'll need a higher level branch manager to hit that 70% chance as the branch level increases. I think level 100 is enough for up to level 7 branches, and then you'll want to be using level 110 units. You will ultimately need to build the command center at branch level 10 in order to keep that 70% greater success chance, but all that really means is that the command center steals your facility point reward for reaching level 10 and is still ultimately useless. The PR department is another great facility option. Each level increases the chance of high-grade dispatch missions appearing by 10%, up to a maximum of 30% at level 3. High-grade branch missions can give some great rewards, so this is an excellent option, especially if you run 1-hour missions over and over to try to sort of re-roll your missions list in the hopes of getting some good 4 or 8-hour missions. Because level 2 and level 3 bonuses are bigger, and I'm trying to get as many blue employment contracts from branch missions as I can, I actually prioritizing maxing this before the future strategy department. You want both maxed eventually, so the order is up to you. The CSE passive radar is another one of those trapped facilities like the command center. Increasing the chance to find a high-grade disturbance sounds like it should cause more dives and raids to spawn, but that's very likely not what it does. In fact, I have good reason to believe it actually does nothing at all, except being a building requirement for the spatial coordinate fixator. Before the Origin update in February, there was a free facility that let you basically choose what level dives will appear. The dive levels would almost always end with a 5, like 95 or 105. Sometimes the levels will go up by 5, along with the cost and rewards going up by a bit to match. These were probably the so-called high-grade disturbances. Now, the dive levels are always the same, based on your dive depth, so high-grade dives don't even exist. Useless building. 0 out of 10. The data archive reduces the info cost for dives. This is the main competition that the cafeteria has, and the data archive's value increases based on how high of a level your dives are. The max level world map dives cost 600 info, so a 10% decrease at level 1 data archive brings that down to 540 per dive. Before the March update reduced the dive spawn chance, I think this one was the better value, but now it could go either way. If you really need the info, you might want to level this building or the cafeteria instead of maxing out future strategy department, but otherwise you probably won't have either of these two buildings leveled if you followed my proposed facility setup later. The spatial coordinate fixator is the last facility I highly recommend building. It does require you to build a CSE passive radar first, but you can just build it, build this facility, then remove the radar, and finally upgrade the fixator with the extra facility point. This facility increases the chance of dive spawning by 10% at level 1, 25% at level 2, and a combined total of 40% at its max level of 3. By the time you reach dive coordinates level 46 or higher, dives are going to be providing a lot of Eternium, imaginary cores, and ship parts, which will be important again for everybody in a future update on Global, and is already pretty important on C. So you're going to want as many dives spawning as you can get, and this facility actually helps with that. The interception support gear and gear change module enhance your ability to pay even more info for raids in order to make your team more powerful for a single battle. This is just a waste of resources. These buildings should cost 0 facility points for anyone to even consider building them. This does give us an opportunity to talk about a few raid-related mechanics instead. Your regular 16-unit raid teams can be supported by a 17th member, similarly to how dive squads are supported by leaders from other ships you've brought. The supporting unit will be the branch manager at the branch where the raid takes place. This is why when you enter someone else's raid screen, it tells you the location at the top of the raid interface. Note that if you already have them in your raid squad, they can't simultaneously be a support unit. So you should probably make your branch manager raid squad DPS rejects. That would have been your 17th raid unit. Since you don't have to pay their deployment cost, awaken units can be a good choice for this slot, but a higher deploy cost will mean it'll take longer for them to be ready to summon. I'd recommend putting your best support units at ADC G1 branch, because everybody has that one unlocked by default, and that's probably where the majority of your joinable raids will appear. From there, you can guess at what branches people are likely to unlock next. I think usually people unlock the top ones first, and often go left to right. And finally, the phased array radar is the opposite of the spatial coordinate fixator. We've covered a lot of useless facilities, but this one is actively harmful to your goal of having more dives. Maybe in some ultra late game context, when all that's left is trying to roll good potentials on raid gear, this building becomes useful. But even then, it's competing with the extra Eternium gain to be used in dimension trimming for swift, jungle, and volcano potentials. So the facility review is over. And let's answer some questions about branch unlocks, build order, and mission reward priority. First, the quartz question. Should you unlock the 5th or 6th branch early by paying quartz? If you log on once or twice a day and send out 8-hour missions most of the time, then no. If you're logging in every 50 to 60 minutes to send short dispatch missions in order to get better 4 to 8 hour missions to spawn, then probably yes. If you're somewhere in the middle of the two and aren't sure, then no. Unless you're getting quartz from the premium shop. The most important thing is to be able to buy the 220 black tickets every week with quartz. So if you feel like these unlocks might cause you to miss those weeks in the future, then don't buy them. If I started over right now, my facility build order would be building and upgrading the PR department at branch levels 1, 2, and 3 to max it out, building the future strategy department at level 4, upgrading it once at level 5, and then removing it at level 6, then building the CSE passive radar, then building the spatial coordinate fixer, then removing the CSE passive radar, and upgrading the spatial coordinate fixator to level 2, and rebuilding the future strategy department again, keeping it at level 1. So that's pretty complicated, but at the end of it, you should have the level 3 PR department, the level 1 future strategy department, and level 2 spatial coordinate fixator. At level 7, I would upgrade the SCF to level 3. At level 8, I would upgrade the future strategy department to level 2, which is where I am now. And at level 9, I would max the FSD out. And then at 10, I would build the command center, because I'd want to maintain that 70% great success chance. So the PR department, FSD, and SCF would all be maxed at level 9. In terms of dispatch mission rewards, Your biggest priority should probably be the blue employment contracts. After that, quartz is always a good one, followed by simulation tickets and SAPT core boxes. If none of those are available, you should probably do a 1-hour mission to reset your choices and hope one of those shows up. If you're not going to be logging in for a while, or simply don't want to spend too much time rerolling missions, the tuning binaries and blue or purple ship part boxes are decent options. An SAPT core and a fusion core fragment are both basically 1/5 of a fusion core, so the 8-hour missions for fusion core fragments are usually a bad idea, unless you won't be logging in for a while. Just make sure you're getting a 70% great success chance when deploying, or higher during event buffs. That should be everything. If you still have any questions or general thoughts, feel free to leave a reply. If you like this video, please give it a like, and subscribe to see more guide content in the future. Usually it'll be PvP content, since there are plenty of good PvE guides already, but if you feel like there are other overlooked PvE subjects, let me know. Thanks for watching.